Deploying a Uniswap Subgraph contract is a crucial step in indexing and querying data on the Ethereum blockchain. To begin, you need to have a basic understanding of Ethereum smart contracts and the Uniswap protocol. First, you need to set up a new subgraph project using the Graph CLI tool by running the command to create a new subgraph. This will generate a basic directory structure for your subgraph, including the schema, mappings, and manifest files. Next, you need to define the schema for your subgraph, which determines the structure of the data that will be indexed. This involves creating a GraphQL schema that defines the types and fields that will be available for querying. After defining the schema, you need to write the mapping handlers that will be responsible for extracting and transforming data from the Ethereum blockchain into the format defined by the schema. This typically involves writing JavaScript code that interacts with the Ethereum blockchain using the Web3 library. Once you have written the mapping handlers, you need to deploy the subgraph to the graph node, which is responsible for indexing and serving the data. This involves building and deploying the subgraph using the Graph CLI tool. To deploy the subgraph, you need to have a graph node instance running, either locally or on a remote server. You can then use the Graph CLI tool to deploy the subgraph to the graph node, which will begin indexing the data and making it available for querying. It is essential to test and verify that the subgraph is working correctly. By querying the data using the GraphQL API, you can use tools like GraphQL to test and debug the subgraph. Best practices for deploying Uniswap subgraph contracts include optimizing the performance of the subgraph by minimizing the amount of data that needs to be indexed and reducing the number of requests made to the Ethereum blockchain. You should also ensure that the subgraph is secure and follows best practices for smart contract development. By following these steps and best practices, you can successfully deploy a Uniswap subgraph contract and start indexing and querying data on the Ethereum blockchain. This will enable you to build powerful and data-driven applications on top of the Uniswap protocol.